Is this the greatest true story ever told, or the greatest lie ever told? Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things the Irishman got factually right and wrong. For this list, we're taking a look at the historical accuracy in Martin Scorsese's epic crime drama about the life of Frank Sheeran. Since there are varying perspectives on different events and figures, we may never know the whole truth, but we can evaluate just how close the Irishman comes. Also, a huge spoiler alert is in effect.
One of 1,000 working stiffs. Until I wasn't no more. And then I started painting houses. Myself.
Number 10. I heard you paint houses. Right. In The Irishman, Jimmy Hoffa introduces himself to Frank Sheeran over the phone saying,
I heard you paint houses.
Yes, sir, I do. And I also do my own carpentry.
This quote provided the title for Charles Brandt's 2004 nonfiction novel, the movie's source material. The book jacket reads, quote, I heard you paint houses are the first words Jimmy Hoffa ever spoke to Frank the Irishman Sheeran. To paint a house is to kill a man. The paint is the blood that splatters on the walls and floors. Some have challenged the authenticity of this quote, arguing that they couldn't find it anywhere outside of Brandt's book. Brandt claims, however, that mobsters from northeastern Pennsylvania, quote, have their own lingo. In any case, Sheeran did form a close friendship with Hoffa through his mentor, mobster Russell Buffalino.
I owe you anything?
No, you don't owe me anything.
Oh, thanks. Frank.
Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Number 9. Charles Brandt. Wrong. Charles Brandt is perhaps the most notable figure missing from The Irishman. As seen in the film, Sheeran faced racketeering charges and was sentenced to prison for 18 years.
I love that car. But it wasn't worth the 18 years they gave me for it. That's for sure.
His sentence later got extended to 32 years on another charge, although Sheeran was ultimately released after 13 years. Brandt, a medical malpractice lawyer, played a major role in securing Sheeran's early parole due to his health. Once he was a free man, Sheeran supposedly told Brandt his life story, which he chronicled in I Heard You Paint Houses. Yet Brandt is nowhere to be found in The Irishman. Sheeran is seen confessing his sins to someone throughout the movie. It is possible that this unseen individual is intended to be Brandt, although it's never made clear. Number 8. Peggy Sheeran's relationship with her father. Right. The film sees Sheeran beat a shop owner to a pulp after he yells at his daughter Peggy. This is true to an actual confrontation according to Sheeran's other daughter, Dolores Miller, who said, quote, my sister once knocked something over in a store and was bawled at by the owner. My father went round and broke the owner's hands. It's also true that Peggy cut off communication with her father after Hoffa went missing. Sheeran told Brandt, quote, I was very close to Peggy, but she doesn't talk to me anymore. Not since Jimmy disappeared.
She stopped talking to me that day, August 3rd, 1975.
It's debatable whether Peggy believed her father was responsible for killing Hoffa. Whatever she thought, their relationship virtually ended in 1975, according to Sheeran.
Peggy, I just want to talk.
Number 7. Frank Sheeran was in World War II. Right. Not long after befriending Russell Buffalino in the film, Sheeran tells him that he was part of the 45th Infantry Division during World War II, which is true. Throughout his unusually lengthy 411 days in combat, Sheeran participated in the Salerno landings, the Anzio campaign, and the invasion of Sicily.
I understand you're a brother of mine.
Yes, sir. Local 107 since 1947.
In I Heard You Paint Houses, Sheeran recalled that, quote, an officer would tell you to take a couple of German prisoners back behind the line and for you to hurry back.
You got orders, you follow them. They tell you to bring some prisoners into the woods, you know, and then they don't tell you what to do. But they just say, hurry up.
This is briefly touched upon in a flashback when Sheeran forces 2 enemy soldiers to dig their own graves. Sheeran claims that his career as a hitman is rooted in his 4 years of combat duty, having participated in various massacres, executions, and war crimes. Number 6. Hoffa's animosity towards the Kennedys. Right. The Irishman makes it no secret that Hoffa was not a fan of the Kennedy family. When John F. Kennedy was elected President of the United States, he named his brother Robert Kennedy Attorney General, and the quote-unquote Get Hoffa squad surged into action. Hoffa would ultimately be convicted for attempted bribery, but not before JFK was assassinated in 1963.
President Kennedy has been shot by a would-be assassin in Dallas, Texas.
In the film, Hoffa hears about the shooting in a diner, but returns to his ice cream sundae shortly after. In real life, Hoffa was supposedly in a restaurant when the news broke, prompting him to stand on a chair and cheer. It's safe to say that Hoffa was more of a Nixon guy, having received a pardon from the 37th president in 1971.
If you were to go and were asked to speak, what would you say?
I'd say, Bobby Kennedy is just another lawyer now.
Number 5. Sheeran took out Crazy Joe Gallo. Maybe. Watching The Irishman, keep in mind that Sheeran might not have been the most reliable narrator. One of Sheeran's biggest claims that's been called into question is his involvement in the death of mobster Crazy Joe Gallo. In the film, a hit is put out on Gallo after he publicly disrespects Buffalino.
What are you doing with that? You really believe in that bullshit league?
While Gallo is having a birthday dinner with his family at Umberto's Clam House, Sheeran storms in and starts shooting up the joint. Sheeran pursues Gallo outside where he finishes the job. Although this is how Sheeran actually recounted the incident, Gallo's murder remains unsolved. According to another account, Columbo associate Joseph Luparelli and 4 other men were responsible for the hit. Whichever version you believe, Umberto's remains a historic mafia hit site. Number 4. Hoffa's last known whereabouts. Right. The final hour of The Irishman is where the historical accuracy starts to enter a gray territory, but Hoffa was indeed last seen alive at the Max's Red Fox restaurant in Detroit. In the film, Hoffa gets stood up by Anthony Provenzano and Anthony Giacalone. He's subsequently picked up in a car with Sheeran in the back, Sal Bergoglio in the front passenger seat, and his foster son Chucky O'Brien behind the wheel.
We'll bring you back after you get your car.
Okay.
While it's hard to say if Sheeran was really in the vehicle, the FBI did believe for a long time that O'Brien drove a car that picked up Hoffa in the parking lot. Harvard professor Jack L. Goldsmith, however, has debated that O'Brien was falsely accused of driving Hoffa to his death.
There's a fish in here, but we cleaned it up.
Number 3. Only Sheeran confessed to Hoffa's disappearance. Wrong. Although The Irishman offers Sheeran's perspective of what happened to Hoffa, there are various other accounts and theories regarding his mysterious disappearance. For example, Donald Franco's claimed that it was mobster Jimmy Coonan who shot Hoffa, and that his body was buried under New Jersey's Giant Stadium. Serial killer Richard Kuklinski, also known as the Iceman, claimed in 2006 that he iced Hoffa, crushed him up in a car, and then sold the scrap metal to Japan. According to reporter Selwyn Rabb, quote, "There are 14 people who claim to have killed Hoffa. There's an inexhaustible supply of them."
But things are good in here. Everything is.
Everything's terrible. You don't sleep at night because you're afraid someone's
I
gonna
couldn't.
knife you.
Because you look okay.
Yet the film makes no mention of the other people who've taken credit for Hoffa's disappearance, leading us to believe that Sheeran's version is the only one that matters.
You seem like nice fellas. Yeah, I appreciate you coming to see me, but I can't help you.
That's it?
That's it.
Number 2. Sheeran confessed to taking out Hoffa. True. While we don't see who Sheeran is telling the story to, he is definitely confessing to someone. His narration builds to a heart-pounding moment as Sheeran escorts Hoffa into a house where Provenzano and Buffalino are supposedly waiting inside. Seeing that the house is empty, Hoffa suspects something's amiss and immediately turns around. Before Hoffa can get out the door though, Sheeran pulls out his gun and fires 2 shots point blank.
Let's get out of here. Come on.
This is precisely how Sheeran detailed Hoffa's death in Brandt's book. As the film reveals, however, Sheeran also denied knowing anything about Hoffa's disappearance prior to the book's publication. In 1995, Sheeran reportedly told Kitty Caparella, quote, "I did not kill Hoffa, and I had nothing to do with it," pinning the disappearance on Richard Nixon.
They wouldn't dare.
Don't
They wouldn't dare. Please, Frank, come on.
Don't say they wouldn't dare.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Sheeran really did take out Hoffa. Maybe. Sheeran may have confessed, but there's a reason nobody's ever been found guilty of Hoffa's death. Sheeran's confession alone is all the FBI really has to go on.
I talked to this guy. I talked to him. He said, he don't listen, but he's got to listen now. I got to make him listen.
leading many to speculate if his story is true. Since Sheeran made these claims decades after the fact, it's been difficult to come up with any concrete evidence. Reporter Eric Shawn visited the house Hoffa died in, according to Sheeran, and found traces of human blood. Yet it wasn't a match for Hoffa's. Although investigator Dan Moldea believes that Sheeran, quote, was definitely involved in Hoffa's demise, all of his research seems to suggest that, quote, he confessed to a murder he didn't commit. So, just as the film ends on an unclosed door, Hoffa's case remains open too.
Do me a favor. Don't shut the door all the way. I don't like that. Just leave it open a little bit.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.